Today, Block Chat will be different, guys. It's a spotlight, and that side will not be different. However, we'll be looking at the past and the future, as well as looking at a very specific market, which is pretty interesting, the Australian market. And we'll be doing that definitely with no one else but Julia, our CMO at Blocksquare, and a person who knows much about what we do on a community level, but at the same time have done so much in a market that, in my opinion, has so much potential. Julia, how are you?
Yeah, I'm very well. Thanks,
Welcome to
Makram.
Block Chat. It was overdue, huh?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Let's hope that we can do a good Block Chat for everyone today. And Julia, the thing that I ask first is, who is Julia? What have you done in the past? What are you doing now? And what are you planning to do in the future, hopefully very soon? And there's much happening today in your market. We've just seen the first tokenization in your market with Blocksquare, the first property that went to being tokenized. And there's much happening there. So tell us, please, who's Julia? And what are we doing now? And what are we planning for the future?
Okay, so yeah, my name is Julia Buchholz, hard to pronounce.
Definitely.
And I come from a blockchain and a crypto background. Basically, I met Dennis and the Blocksquare team back in 2019 in Switzerland, in Crypto Valley, for the global blockchain for real estate competition. We participated there with another project, and Blocksquare was there represented by Dennis. And as most of you probably know, Blocksquare won that global competition out of 139 blockchain for real estate companies. That was back in the day. So it was a really good start. And after that, we got invited to travel to Finland and to be present at Ricotech. Like, they invited two blockchain startups that were our two startups. So we always kept meeting each other somewhere in Europe, basically. and so that was a pretty good start. We always just got kept in touch. So in the meanwhile, here next to basically doing blockchain consulting for a couple of startups in the crypto space, we also started to do education with a focus on blockchain for real estate. So we're doing a lot of things in Australia where we educate real estate professionals about the impact of blockchain, not only tokenization of real estate, but also how it can be used to create greater trust and stuff like that. And in Western Australia, it's even approved by the regulating department for real estate as well, DEMIRS. So and then last year when Dennis called and we gave an update where Blocksquare was standing and everything, I was like, oh, this is great. My favorite tokenization project is doing actually really well and is planning to launch Oceanpoint soon. So I was like, yeah, that sounds really fantastic. I would love to be part of a project like that. And that is basically how I came to Blocksquare and how we met. And that's what we're doing now. We are tokenizing real estate.
And so first, let me tell you something. What you do is very important from different elements. In my opinion, you are connected to different elements in the market. And you mentioned something a few times when you were introducing yourself, which is educating. And I believe you have a role in educating the market. We all have a role in educating the market. I believe you're putting so much effort there and it's working. You're able to add value to the market. I've been briefly on a session of yours and I see that there's so much excitement from people who are involved with what you're doing. At the same time, you're connected to different sides of the community. So you're connecting the blockchain, where the crypto side, not only the blockchain as a technology side, to the real estate side, which is interesting because it gets people, regardless if they're attached to the fundamentals or to the hype, it gets them to the real impact of blockchain, of distributed ledger technologies on our lives and on technology, on industries that we know, on asset classes that we live and we buy. So I salute you for all the hard work you do. The work that you do with Simon and others also on a legal and legislative side is so valuable, in my opinion, not only to you and to Australia and to the market in Perth, but to the world, in my opinion, because that effort is a cumulative effort that adds to our success altogether and definitely adds to the energy of Blocksquare. The road forward, where do you see us going, Julia? You're putting all of this effort. Most of it cannot be realized with its impact or its result immediately. It takes time to do so. Where are you going with that? What do you see the future like?
Well, that's right. It's not a fast or simple process. If you want to change how things are being done in an industry, and especially now with the recent crypto crash, stock market crash, like a crash of everything basically. But of course, the worst of all of it is Bitcoin. That is basically that all the other stuff is okay, but crypto crash is bad. But people who don't know much about these new technologies and these new currencies and all of that yet, for them it's of course really hard to understand why we're doing what we're doing or why we think it's better what we're doing. And I think a lot of people are aware of the problems we're facing in transacting real estate, but they're so used to it and they're so used to this is the market, this is how it works, so they're accepting it. And if you are coming with something new that is changing the way how they're used to do something, then they're scared to do that a little bit because they would feel safer to do it the old way and just digitize it, like create an NFT or create like a security token or something like that that stands for the title or whatsoever, like the old traditional way, do a security token offering. They would feel safer with that than actually doing it with something that is in real innovation means you're changing ways how we do things. And it's sometimes digitizing something is easier than innovating something because innovation means a change in the industry, basically. So now where is this going? When we applied last year, together with RIBA, the Real Estate Institute of Western Australia, when we applied for the approval by the Department of Industry Regulations and Department of Mines, Industry Regulations and Securities here in Western Australia, that's the body basically for consumer protection and all of that, we really just said, okay, let's give it a go because that would be key to get it actually regulated, approved. And we tried it a couple of times and we almost got knocked back and we had, even Riva was already almost giving up on it. And we're like, just give us a meeting. Let's just see like where the problem is. Let us talk to these people because then we do have the feeling that they think that blockchain maybe is an application and not a technology itself. And that was exactly the problem. So the regulator basically didn't understand what blockchain was. So they thought blockchain.com is basically an app or something, and they just knocked us back and knocked us back. Until they then understood, we had to educate them first to understand how powerful this is. And then they were like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like, we can see this now. And yes, we would love to get our agents, educated on that. But then, yeah, so we were like, wow, this is amazing, especially Riva and Tours, they really got this now into the real estate industry. But still, we were the first one Australia-wide basically doing that. And now yesterday, and that is basically just 1 year later, less than 1 year later, we are the Real Estate Institute of Australia. They published the first blockchain for real estate report in Australia. And the president of RIA, he was giving an interview where he was basically saying, this is where we see that Australia should be heading. and we should become the first, nation where really tokenization of real estate is really leading, and that is a massive step. So now what we still have to understand to do is we have to, yes, educate the real estate industry, but we have to work on the professionals in the legal and in the finance industry as well, because these are the three parts who are always working together when it comes to real estate. But what's happening right now is now finally the real estate agent understands what's possible, and then he brings all the CMO from whoever's in charge for asset management in a big company and runs and manages all their properties. They might understand now what we're doing, but then they have a meeting with the finance people and the legal people, and they don't understand a word. They think, oh yeah, Bitcoin is volatile. So that's it. That's where it ends. So there's still a lot of work to be done in the adoption phase. So they all parts get away from blockchain is Bitcoin trading and that is it. It's not the case. Blockchain is much, 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 much more that really can improve and change industries.
So let's say today we're hosting this chat in 2030. What do you expect our conversation to be about?
In 2030, well, I would say that walking through the city and, I own a little bit in Hay Street, a little bit in William Street, a little bit there, and I have all my residual income coming from all my different properties, maybe a little bit in Dubai, Marina Bay.
So my question would be at that time, for example, Julia, which market is driving within your portfolio the best APY, yeah?
Which market is driving?
Yeah, so in 2030, because you own parts of assets all over the world within your portfolio, and you own a property or part of a property in New York, you own another one in LA, and you own another one in Dubai, and you own few in Dubai actually. And then we end up saying, okay, all of those assets are assets we own, and there's a portfolio that's generating a very good return. Which part of the portfolio is generating the best return? And then you probably would increase $100 a month in that section of the market rather than another section of the market. So rather than you investing some more money in London, you would invest some more money in Dubai or Singapore or anywhere else in the world where you see that you're generating the best return, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, how cool would that be?
I believe it's coming, yeah. So I believe it will be everyone's pension scheme. If you want something that is inflation-proof in a way or other, and at the same time time-proof, you need to have something that does not die with time. And cash flows from real estate only become better with time. They do not go worse. You would never expect that with time. And taking a sufficient enough amount of time, like 20 years, 30 years, that cash flows from a property, unless a significant change happened in the city or in the country or in the location or in the property itself, you wouldn't expect that the cash flow is less in dollar value. You would expect it to be more. So it's in a way or other the safest to be in. And if you want to diversify currency-wise, as well as, so I'll give you an example. You're in Australia now, and the Australian dollar has been lagging with the US dollar since a few years now. And that's positive in a way for the Australian economy, but it's probably for you as an investor, if you had 10 years ago, 10 million Australian dollars, it was worth much more in US dollar value. However, if you would have diversified all of this money all over the world in real estate, and you're earning from it in different parts of the world, you would limit the impact of that on you, isn't it? On your portfolio, on your income. Yeah? So
Absolutely.
In 2030, I would be asking you, which part of your portfolio is performing best, Julia? Is it the New York part or the LA part or the Dubai part, probably? And I believe it would be the Dubai part, maybe. That's my bias. So let's look at our community. Our community waits for updates from you, and you're pretty active. You're our CMO. You're responsible for engaging the community, and you have been doing good stuff in the past few weeks that had our community, issue videos, content, material, and thankfully we have an active community. What are we doing there, and what is working, and how do you hope that we can engage people further? Dennis, for example, was suggesting that we do a voice-only chat on Discord. What are we planning there, and what do you feel can help us in the future going forward? And when we talk the future, we talk the imminent future, tomorrow morning.
Okay. So yes, so we were thinking to do our first Discord voice, so we can bring our community members basically on the call as well, and we can have an interactive conversation with them. Everyone can make suggestions, and we can discuss it. So that's number one. Another thing is, for example, our community members suggested the other day, could we have a transcript of the blog chat? So for those, not only for SEO reasons, also for those who want to maybe don't have time to listen for an hour or something, and just want to read, on the way. There's people, some it might be in the morning at the train or something.
Sorry, can I stop you here for a second? So do you think that we need to go back to breadcrumbs and create more breadcrumbs?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So that's a good idea. Breadcrumbs, I personally love them because they're very short, and it's something, but one breadcrumb in the morning or something, everyone has time for that. Everyone has time, 5 minutes, if you want to learn something, you can do it on a regular basis. Why not? I find that really good. So what's happening this month is we just finished our Discord leaderboard and the video content leaderboard. We still have a small traffic campaign running. And this month we're going to start. We're going to keep going with the Discord leaderboard.
I heard a comment from Julia yesterday. Julia sharing with our internal team at Blocksquare the one of the videos that one of the community members have done, and Julia saying, this is worth 40,000 BST alone. So, the impact that our community does is huge. It's amazing. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and it's what I like is, we all explain different ways, and when we produce content from a company perspective, it's always quite, we see our project this way, and sometimes maybe we are in our own language, we might overcomplicate it. Or we are, because we are thinking people understand what we try to communicate, because it's our understanding. So when we are letting our community basically produce and putting it into their own words and how they see it, not only is that a big learning curve for ourselves to actually see, did we bring that message the right way to the market? Do they actually understand what we created? But also then they're putting it together in their own words. And we are just, yesterday we had this video coming in from that was one Cryptovium actually did. And we were just sitting there, we were like blown away. We're like, wow, like the quality for someone to produce something so excellent. And I was like, you should really have to start a YouTube channel. This is like really good. You should do this regularly. And he does now. He just starts on YouTube channel. And I think this is something, what I noticed when we started this video contest, a lot of people said, oh, I don't know what to do. I never did a video before. I'm like scared, I'm shy, things like that. And then a couple of days later, they just, did, tutorial videos and did, one of our girls in Australia who tokenized property. She did, share her experience. She's a real estate agent. She did a little testimonial, for example. Others, would, do more educational content. Others more experience, their own experience. It's great. Like everyone did like their own thing, kind of in their own style, and everyone just gave it a go. And
people motivate each other, yeah?
They just loved it. What was it?
People motivate each other. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And I think it's great what came up in the end. Everything came in on the last day, kind of.
I used to, Julia, when I heard a view of something that we are doing or I'm doing that differs from the fundamental of what I'm doing, I used to be reluctant to discuss it. I used to also be reluctant to share it. So my thoughts were that if Julia has a thought which is different to the fundamental of what we are doing, that view should not be shared by the company. And then I changed my opinion a few days ago. I was looking at some of the content that has been shared, and I was saying, you know what, this over here contradicts with what we are really doing here. Yet what you said is key, and I realized it only a few days ago. The other people's view or other person's view, regardless of if it matches the fundamentals of what the company is doing as a project, or if it matches our methodology or our ethos or our thesis, it does not really matter. It does not have to be our opinion. It can be a different opinion that partially talks about the real thing that we're doing, and it can be partially discussing something in a different way, in an alternative way, in a way that I may not agree with. It does not really matter. All of this energy gets everyone to a realization that makes sense. At the same time, like too many times when people talk crypto and then they talk blockchain, I tell them, let's separate those two. Let's separate the result of how one use of blockchain could be, so which is cryptocurrencies or digital currencies in general, and blockchain as a technology itself. So I'm separating mobility from Tesla or from Uber, and that's what we should do. But then I listen to someone who's mixing it all up, and it's a mumbo jumbo, but to me it may look odd, but to everyone else in the world it looks exciting and it looks right, and it supports them learning about it. It talks in a way they understand. When somebody talks about Bitcoin and then puts a property token beside it, and I say stop, I shouldn't say stop. I should say, you know what, keep going, because they, as you said, they understand things in a way which a big community understands the same way, and they can add value to the whole community, first by intriguing them, second by teaching us maybe to amend our message to a better message. Because when our message is weak, it reaches people wrongly. When our message is comprehensive, it reaches people right, and then we can hear the right message back from them. So it's a great, what I've learned a few days ago, and I've learned it probably by watching some of the stuff that are being shared by the community, which some of may not really be conclusive in my view. So that's very good. Julia, some of the work you're doing on the ground today resulted in the first property tokenized in Australia. Now, you have great support from several institutions in Australia, as I see, and recently by institutions which are empowering women, ladies, to do and achieve on things, yeah, which is great. The first person who's tokenized in Australia is a lady, yeah?
No, she's actually the second. She wanted to be the first, but she wasn't fast enough. Okay. So the first one, he's a man. He's a great. He's a big BST fan, actually, Blocksquare token fan.
So we need to have him on video, because I only saw her on video.
Yeah. Well, he wanted to do a video, but then he couldn't make it in time. But I'm pretty sure he will give us a testimonial anyways. He tried, but he got too busy this week.
So how did you get there? Because our experiences in getting there may support some of our community members who want to help us tokenize more property do that. How did you get to the first tokenizer and the second tokenizer? And What was the chat about? What were the challenges that you lived with them?
I would say, well, we do have actually like quite a few now here from our community here in Perth. We do have, here in Perth, we have a PropTech hub, property technology hub. We have blockchain WA, like, and there's a lot of events and a lot of community. We did a while ago the tech stack Bitcoin pizza night, and everyone just came to have a big party together, and just, you know, everyone made friends with each other. And so in community and engagement, that was it's really important. And then what I did was, oh yeah, I knew that this guy, he just bought some BST, and this guy, he actually wants to tokenize his property, he's thinking about it. And what I did is I just connected them more with each other, and they just started to talk and had a great fun night together. And now they always see each other at events and so on. But so that one basically talks to the next, and then everyone starts feeling comfortable about it, because first they're all interested, but when they are by themselves, then they might, you know, think like, oh, it's kind of like something new. I'm still a little bit scared. I'm already doing crypto, but now I'm using my property to actually stake it for tokens, and this is kind of cool, but am I actually selling my property, or what am I doing there? They just want, you know, and then they start talking with each other, and they all motivate each other. And so after that, like everyone, all these parties like started to feel much more comfortable. But then what then happened was, okay, we need a current valuation. And the valuation, this is where it became hard for everyone, because it's just, yeah, this, okay, now I'm going to get a valuation done for, one got it from a bank, another one got it from here, another one got it from here, but this is what takes time for them. Because when they were looking at the valuations that are a land gate, for example, they said that's not existing, like that's not relevant for us, because we did in the meanwhile renovation work, and we did this, and we upgraded the house, and so this is actually not really the existing value. So they wanted to get it right. So to get this valuation done, basically, I think this is what took most time. And then when we started to tokenize, when we did the process, then what I found extremely different or extremely important actually for them was, we figured out that they were looking at documents that they haven't seen for years. And these were their title of ownership, their proof of ownership. And in each case where we started to do the submission for the tokenization, and also the others who are at the moment preparing and try to get the documents together, they found that there was something wrong on their original document. Like they had an old address on it. One even had like a change of company. Like, you know, like they were like, oh my God, what's actually going on here? So while they were tokenizing, they actually noticed that their data is not up to date. So and that was a time for them where they were able now to fix that. Imagine like years and years and years and years later, you notice, oh my God, actually that company that owns my property actually expired or something like that. That would be a disaster. But because they tokenized, they were like, oh wow, actually I have to, you know,
So here,
put a lot of effort in my properties.
So two messages here to everyone. First, think about tokenization, because first you can go back and update your documents and update everything that's there, or confirm if you have them, because I've seen so many instances where people do not have the documents anywhere or misplaced them. That's item number one. Item number two is message to the community. It's pretty easy. Just connect people together. If you know anyone who owns real estate and who wants to, let's call it experiment, because he may not understand yet the process. He did not understand the process when he downloaded Telegram. I still don't understand Discord. So it's normal. Experiment. So you do not need to understand the process. You would have downloaded WhatsApp, Telegram, and Discord. I did the same. I understand WhatsApp now. I partially understand Telegram. I do not understand Discord at all. So it's normal. You may understand and like what you see with property tokenization. at Blocksquare, we created a very simple process. Your process is as simple as you listing a property on any, or giving a listing to a broker even in Perth. If you want to give a listing to a broker or tokenize your property today, it's as easy or even easier to do the tokenization at Blocksquare. So think about it that way. As a community member, go ahead and just join join the effort and introduce someone to our community, and he may end up being someone who tokenizes. Julia, something else that I was thinking of. How about if we cut the block chat that we're doing, which is usually between 45 minutes and an hour and 10 minutes. If we cut it into a 1 minute or 3 minute pieces, capturing conversations within it and then sharing it with the community, do you think that that will be something that is useful for people to be able to consume the most important sections or pieces of a block chat?
I find that useful, especially when we have guests on the blog chat. Like, remember last time when we had Kieran Mesquita from Railgun, and we had that 1 minute where he explained what Railgun, for example, is. And we used that on social media. We shared that to the Railgun community in their Telegram group and stuff like that. So because for them, they're watching it because of Railgun in the first place. And this is then how they are getting to know about Blocksquare, hopefully.
The amazing, by the way, Kieran, an amazing guy, yeah, superb human being. I love this guy, and he said something which is scary. On a different note, other than in my opinion, that was the highlight not only of that session, but for me was the highlight of that week. Whatever I've done was, if you are doing, and it has positives and negatives within the same statement. If you are today doing anything on blockchain, it's similar to you posting your whole bank statements every end of the month, your detailed bank statements on the social media, on Facebook. Yeah, this is exactly what it is. And after that, I've researched it and understood the magnitude of that and the positives of that. This is how transparent blockchain and distributed ledger technologies could be if we treat them right. Julia, it's been a pleasure seeing you today. Our CMO at Blocksquare, and a person who's very passionate about what she does and what we do. And I believe a person who's very impactful, because I see you at conferences, educational sessions, seminars, webinars. There's too much happening there. You're involved with different parts of the community, and obviously you're not after the hype. You're after the fundamentals. I'm so happy to be part of a team that you're part of, and to have you on Block Chat today. What is your message to your last message to our community and beyond today?
I would say, just do it, make it happen. Don't be scared, and just give it a go with Oceanpoint. Put your property on there. It's free at the moment. Even we are doing this to take away the fear and just let you play around with Web3 in real estate, just so you get a feeling how it works, how you set up a wallet, how you connect everything to your real estate. And that's as simple as that at the moment. It's not even anything more there. We're not even selling to the market or anything at this stage. It's really just tokenization. And I think it's a great opportunity. And yeah, just try something new. Don't be scared. Just do it and make it happen.
Just do it. Exactly. Thank you so much, Julia. Pleasure seeing you today. And we will, guys, be doing so much more to try and inform you as a community. We will be doing so much more to try and reach our outside community, which several members of our community are saying, why aren't we creating content for other communities? I promise you we will do. Okay, we will reform BlockChat. We will do other initiatives as well, and separate initiatives that we're doing for our community, which can be on Discord and or Telegram. And we need to start moving more towards Discord. I need to start learning Discord, but Julia and Dennis are already doing a great job there. At the same time, we will be doing content that is interesting for everyone else, and we will be pushing it forward so that we can create an impact on everyone else. That's something we promise you of. Thank you so much, Julia, for being with us today. Thank you for everyone who've been on our block chat. Again, another session of The Brief. It's Julia and Makram. Enjoy your day. Have a pleasant time.